straight out of Nuremberg City where the girls are pretty. We are here with Freedom Call, kicking ass all the way from today to LA to Furt, Germany. One and only kicking metal rockin' radio. Hip-hop, we play rock and roll. Rock the nation, tune in for the show. Welcome to this happy metal radio show. Rock forever, be part of us all. Visit our happy metal rock and roll show. We don't play rap and hip-hop. We don't play rap and hip-hop. Techno, but rock music and metal. Rock the nation. Tune in for the show. Welcome to this happy metal radio show. Rock forever. Be part of us all. Visit our happy metal rock and roll show. We don't play rap and techno. We don't play rap and techno. DC's calling, jump in the rolling train. Twirl the world, big stages, let it out and scream.
Headphones on. Is it playing at a second time?
Coming straight out of Nuremberg
It's playing at a second time.
We are here with Freedom Call.
Yes, you're here with Freedom Call. Actually, you're here with Unnatural Selection, only on 101.7 WDSR. So I'm going to introduce somebody new to the station. He's just joining me for today, but he is looking at maybe getting his own show for next year. Corlin something or other. His last name means lightning in Polish, so DJ Lightning, everybody.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Also, you're the first person in 3 years to have a nickname. Sorry, no, there was one other. But it's been a long time since we have had a DJ that actually goes by a nickname, so welcome.
I mean, I'm fine with DJ Lightning.
DJ Lightning.
Yeah.
It works. Why not? So you guys know the drill. It's Unnatural Selection. Today is College Radio Day. What does that mean? That means all across the country, people are staying up to God knows when playing radio at their colleges. I was here to start things off at 3 in the morning. I rambled about Star Trek, metal, Ireland, and Sinatra for 2 hours. Ow! It was strange and odd, and I swear to God, I kept pressing the mic when I meant to. I turned the mic on when I meant to turn it off, and turning it off when I meant to turn it on. It was not a good time. But I'm happy to have done it because this is my last year here, and it feels good to start up the tradition again this year, given how much this has been a part of me while I've been on campus. So, you just heard Freedom Calls Rockin' Radio. Now, per tradition, we will play Sabaton. And we will play quite a bit of Sabaton. We're going to play 3 tracks. We're going to open with Masters of the World, followed by Metal Crew, followed by Metal Machine.
accept that you won't see no sorrow. The rainbow leads you home. Warriors sent to Milky Way, UFO shooting gamma ray, a riot of destruction. Watch the rock pitch go down and Vixen spread. When the priest killed a maiden in the metal church.
One moment, we're gonna change this one real quick.
You killed it mid-song?
Yes, I did because I need to show my new co-host the importance of this track.
Oh, really now?
Take some venom and accept that you won't see no sorrow. The rainbow leads you home. Warriors sent to Milky Way, UFO shooting gamma ray, a riot of destruction. Watch the rock pitch go down and Vixen spread. When the priest killed a maiden in the metal church, all the saints and warlocks watched the slaughter. Rage of the slayer forced the pretty maids to kiss the queen in crimson glory. You were born a motorhead, bikes in flames to race ahead. You knew the cancer's rush, racing with the motley crew, emulator chasing you with guns and burning roses. Status quo has been reached, was unleashed. When the priest killed a maiden in the metal church, all my saints and warlocks watch the slaughter. Rage of the slayer across the bleeding AIDS to kiss the queen in crimson glory. Take a sky ride with me, then you'll see. When the priest killed a maiden in the metal church, all the saints and warlocks watched the slaughter. Rage of the slayer plus the bleeding age to kiss the queen in crimson glory.
They're chasing you. Alright, so by the end of that, he had started singing along. And now I will go to Metal Machine, which does something similar.
a fear of the dark, afraid to shoot strangers, the animal talks. Guns scare me shitless, but love guns, my friend. The sentinel's coming, but is this the end? Riding on this crazy train, I'm going paranoid. Watch me lose my mind and break the law. I'm a metal machine. It's close to midnight and he's barking at the moon. I'm a metal machine. A rainbow in the dark is shining. An only metal machine. It's close to midnight and he's barking at the moon. I'm the metal machine. The kings of metal by the sky. Is this Saint anger the ultimate sin? Or have I really a black knight within? The gates of Barnum are open and wide. Shout at the devil, there's nowhere to hide. Fighting for the world to keep the wild child in its cage. Broke the metal heart against the wall. I'm a metal machine. It's close to midnight and it's barking at the moon. An holy metal machine. The rainbow in the dark is shining. On the metal machine. It's close to midnight and it's barking at the moon. Come touch my metal machine. The kings of metal ride the sky. Come touch my metal machine. It's close to midnight and it's barking at the moon. I'm the metal machine. The rainbow in the dark is shining. Comes up my metal machine. It's close to midnight and it's barking at the moon. I'm the metal machine. The kings of metal ride the sky. Come blow my metal machine. It's close to midnight and it's barking at the moon. I'm the metal machine. The rainbow in the dark is shining. Come touch my metal machine. We will never fall. We're masters of the world. Come suck my metal machine. We will never fall. We're masters of the
And now, time for the other one in that sort of trilogy, because Masters of the World is kind of its own thing. There's one other in this vein, and it's Metal Ripper. Now, Metal Crew did names of bands. Metal Machine did lyrics from albums. See if you can figure out what Metal Ripper is doing.
You're in for surprise, you're in for a shock. In London town streets where there's darkness and fog, I'm going down, all the way down. I'm on the highway to hell from here. Blessed by the night, holy and bright, called by the toll of the bell. Oh, Mr. Crowley, did you talk to the dead? Sleep with the devil and the human pen. Come on in, some take my hand. Hear a rising call. What's the devil's
So that was, care to tell them, everybody? Hey, care to tell them? That was Metal, what was that? That was Metal Ripper, and they were covering, you want to share? They did metal lyrics. They had lyrics from songs.
There we go.
So then
I couldn't remember.
So then the last one is Metalizer.
Wonder what that one would be about.
Hang on a sec. I gotta find the right version of it. Metalizer.
Pick a good version. Make us proud.
Does Peace Guitar not have a version of Metalizer? Hang on, give me a second. I gotta find the right thing here. Nope, I was right about the one originally because I was looking for. No, I was thinking of the other one. That's why I got tripped up. Nope, we're not doing that. Okay, so we're gonna move away from Sabaton for a bit to another band, simply because we've just played 4 Sabaton songs in a row. So yeah, we should do a little more coverage here. So we're gonna do music. We're gonna go to metal, and now, sorry, unnatural selection. And what we're gonna do. Not very abstract music, unnatural selection. And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you kind of the origins of power metal here. So the one I want to start with is called War Pigs. Now, what you need to see is there's a theory which states that every metal subgenre originated as a Black Sabbath song. Like, basically, the idea is Black Sabbath did so many different things with their music that you can see the origins of each and every genre in one Sabbath song or another. Let me see here. Every metal subgenre began as a Black Sabbath song. So this was a post by Nathan Smith back in 2013. On HoustonPress.com. Some people out there argue that heavy metal was not implemented by Black Sabbath. These people are wrong. To be sure, the Led Zepps and Deep Purples of the world certainly had their metallic moments, but it wasn't until Tony Iommi sheared off his fingertips at a metal stamper and downtuned his guitar to compensate for this maiming that a new and sinister strain of rock and roll was truly sired. No, it's a fact that Sabbath didn't consider themselves heavy metal. Not at first, anyway. They viewed themselves simply as putting a slightly new twist on the thunderously heavy blues rock pioneered by the likes of Cream. There's a lot of truth in that self-assessment, but not even Clapton and company can claim quite the broad influence on rock and roll that Black Sabbath has produced. Need proof? Well, how's this for a premise? Practically all of heavy metal's 18 jillion multifaceted subgenres can be traced back to a specific Black Sabbath song. And cranking out nearly an album per year back in the 70s, the band did a lot more stretching and exploring than they're sometimes given credit for. The result is they managed to create an entire heavy metal universe, one track at a time. They didn't do it alone, of course, and today's metal is as rooted in hardcore punk as it is in 70s hard rock. The seeds are there. So for doom metal, we have Into the Void. For power metal, and this is the one I'm going to show you, we have War Pigs. From the 1970 album Paranoid, actually. Black Sabbath wouldn't truly lead the charge toward power metal until Ozzy was replaced by Ryan James Dio, which is the phase we're going to get to next. We're first going to do this track, and then we're going to show you the Ozzy days. And we're going to show you the Dio days. One of the preeminent operatic voices in rock history. But the predilection for power was there from almost the very beginning. War Pigs, possibly the greatest anti-war screed ever set to a backbeat, ranks as one of the most spine-tingling songs in heavy metal history, thanks largely to the most powerful vocal performances of Ozzy Osbourne's long career. It doesn't get a lot more anthemic than this one. If you need any additional proof of the profound influence of War Pigs on the formation of the power metal subgenre, consider that was a favorite cover tune of Dio's pre-Rainbow group, Elf. So, we're going to play this track, and then I'm going to explain some more of what all that means, because there's a lot of information there that you need to take in to understand the foundation of power metal as a genre. Okay? Mm-hmm.
Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning, death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh Lord, yeah. Darkness world stops turning, ashes where the body's burning. No more war pigs have the power, and as God has struck the hour, day of judgment God is calling. Underneath the war pigs crawling, begging mercies for the sins. Satan laughing spreads spreads his wings. Oh, Lord, yeah.
Okay. So that's War Pigs, right? Now, they were mentioning this Dio guy. So who's Dio, right? So Ozzy Osbourne was the front man of Black Sabbath for a number of years. Then he wanted to go off and do his own thing for a while. When he decided to go off and do his own thing, what happened was they needed a new front man. So what did they do? They got a guy by the name of Ronnie James Dio to be the front man. Now, Ronnie James Dio had worked with Elf, and then he went to work. Then he went to work with a band called Rainbow. He was only with Elf for a couple of years. Then he went on to Rainbow, and after Rainbow, he became the front man of Black Sabbath. Following Black Sabbath, he went off and got his own band together, because what happened was he then left. Tony Iommi, the drummer, became the lead for a while, and then Ozzy Osbourne rejoined Black Sabbath. And so, Dio was off doing his own thing. Now, what was Dio doing? He created a band called Dio. Now, he is one of the people responsible for power metal in the same way that track is kind of the foundation. I'm going to show you some of the stuff that was put out by him. Okay? So I don't have much from Rainbow actually on the station. I might have something. I know I don't have any Elf. Okay, we have Rainbow. So we're going to play Stargazer. And then I'm going to go to one of his tracks from his days with Sabbath. And then I'll play one of the tracks after he left Sabbath. And this will give you an idea of how power metal kind of came to be. And then I'll show you a couple other bands that played a major role in this. So this is Stargazer by Rainbow, everybody.
I knew
All right. So, what did you think of that?
I thought it was pretty good. It was really powerful.
Yeah. So, the idea, a part of what's great about power metal is the songs typically tell a story. Now, other genres do this, but you'll notice it's kind of fallen off in recent years. Like, think about the stuff that's played, and think of the top 40 hits and what's going on these days, and not a lot, right?
No, not at all.
You look at power metal, and almost every song has a story to it. Some of them are nonsensical stories, but they almost all have a story. And then there's Dragon Force. Dragon Force have come out and stated that the way that they make their songs is that they throw a bunch of words together until it sounds awesome, and they don't really think about the story behind it. I contend that there are a couple times where they have actually thought about the story when writing it, because it's too cohesive of a narrative for it to have just been accident. Those would be Land Where Dragons Rule and Through the Fire and Flames, which we'll get to later.
Now the question is, which is better, when they actually think about it or when they just throw it together?
When they actually think about it. Because the songs that I say they have to have thought about because of the quality, like because of the cohesiveness, I like the cohesiveness. It comes across much better. And I'll show you those two that I'm thinking of in a bit. But we're gonna get through our primer with Dio first. So there's two more Dio songs we're gonna play. We played Ronnie James Dio songs. We played one from his time in Rainbow. I don't have any of his Elf work, so I can't show that. So I'm now gonna play one of his most well-known songs from his time with Black Sabbath, which is Neon Nights.
Nothing's in the past.
Okay, so I take back what I said about only playing one more Ronnie James Dio song. We're going to play two. And the reason we're going to play two is I want to show Rainbow in the Dark, which the thing you have to understand about this song is Ronnie James thought that he should just leave this off the album. He felt it didn't fit as cohesively with the rest of the album, and therefore it should be kept off. So, but the rest of the band, thank God, the rest of the band convinced him to keep it on. And the reason I say thank God is because this song is what has gotten more of my friends into metal than any other song in my collection. I mean, okay, let me rephrase that. The people that I just meet and I want to show a little bit of metal to, who say they aren't into metal,
Like me.
this is the song I link them. The people who I'm good friends with and can get down for more, I'll show them some Sabaton and I'll get them in that way. But the people who I just meet and like say I'm in an internet chat with somebody and they say they don't really listen to metal, I'll link Rainbow in the Dark because it's hard rock, but it just barely crosses to metal. It's right on the line. You hear this song on radio sometimes. And because of that, it's a really good gateway drug, if you will. So we're going to play that, and then we're going to play something else from the same album. And I'm going to go with either Caught in the Middle, Invisible, or Don't Talk to Strangers. I'm trying to figure out which. I'm going to try and decide which one. I think I might do Don't Talk to Strangers, because Invisible's really good. Talk to Strangers is a little bit shorter, and Invisible, you kind of ain't the really big things, the opening. We'll see. I'm going to figure that out in between these two. So listen to Rainbow in the Dark first.
it's likely you might find the answer there. She had 13 years of teenage tears, never a helping hand. She had 14 more of a rain before she saw the sight of land. She was a photograph just ripped in half, a smile inside a frown. And then the light, the answer right inside her coming down. It said, I can go away, I can leave here, can be invisible, go away. He was just 18 and in between a lady and a man. His daddy's girl and mama's world, that was when he ran. You know the word confused has been abused, but that's just what he was. And then the spark inside the dark, the answer came because it said, you can go away, you can leave here, you can be invisible.
All right, so that was Invisible by Dio. So what were your thoughts?
It was great. I enjoyed that.
You got the feeling behind it. You got the story behind it. You got the just how great the instrumentation was, the vocals. Like, it's been said by many. Like, it's pretty well stated that Dio had one of the best set of pipes, if not the best set of pipes in the history of metal. The man was like, I don't know if he was truly operatically trained, but like, actually, let's find out. Let's find out.
Well, he's definitely got the hair to match.
Dio listened to a great deal of opera while growing up and was influenced vocally by American tenor Mario Lanza. His first formal music training began at age 5, learning to play the trumpet. So, like, yeah, he wasn't necessarily formally trained in opera, but he sure as heck listened to a lot of it growing up and styled himself after it. Which, you know, it shows. You hear that come through. So that's Dio, and that's one of the big bases of power metal. Another band that you'll have heard of that played a role in the formation of power metal is Iron Maiden. Now, there's a few different tracks we could use for this. We could do, let's see here. We could do The Trooper. We could do Wicker Man, Die With Your Boots On, Hallowed Be Thy Name, Power Slave, Children. But there's 3 tracks that I want to play that should get the feeling across. And those are Can I Play With Madness, The Evil That Men Do, and there's 4 I want to do now.
Just keep adding them on.
Children of the Damned and 2 Minutes to Midnight. We have the time to play these, and then we'll circle back over. Actually, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cut 2 Minutes to Midnight. No, we'll cut Children of the Damned. So we're gonna play it. Can I Play With Madness, The Evil That Men Do, and 2 Minutes to Midnight.
Can I play with madness? Give me the sense to wonder if I'm free. Give me a sense of wonder to know I can be me.
see. For the devil sends the beast with wrath, because he knows the time is short. Let him who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is a human number. Its number is 666.
I left alone. My mind was blank. I needed time to think, to get the memories from my mind. What did I see? Can I believe that what I saw that night was real and not just fantasy? Just what I saw in my old dreams were the reflections of my Walkman staring back at me. 'Cause in my dreams, it's always there, the evil face that twists my mind and brings me to despair.
And we're back. So, before I play the track that he wants me to show, because he wants me to show him some Kraken, because he looked into Celtic metal, and I can completely understand where you get that from. You part Irish?
No, I'm not, but I'm interested in the Celtic heritage.
Okay, that's fine. I'm part Irish. You got 1/8 Irishman over here.
All right, there we go.
My ancestors were kings in County Cavan, so I don't know specifically which ones, but I am descended from the line that was royalty in that part. I'm not saying we're high kings, but we were kings.
Well, what happened to it? What happened to your royalty?
England. England happened. That's actually the answer that literally anybody who was former royalty in Ireland at any point will say to you. England happened. So, before we get to there, I want to show you a band that I recently discovered. Very recently. They're called Brothers of Metal. And they've only released one album so far. And it's called Prophecy of Ragnarok. Now, here's the music video for Prophecy of Ragnarok. And I think you're going to love it.
perfect silence to end the war. O Chilungagap, O bottomless abyss. It's the ultimate nothingness with death is bliss. Warrior Chawanala! Hear my final word! This is our purpose! This is the run! Next time, soul time. Wing time, wolf time. Next time, soul time. Wing time, wolf time. Worlds will fall!
That is great.
Okay, so like actually get at your mic and just more than just that was great. Tell me what you thought, like an actual somewhat in-depth analysis, not like a term paper, but like give me more than 5 words here. Give me a couple of.
Well, Vikings Valhalla, Axe Time, Wartime, death to all.
All right. You want to be a smart ass? Fine. Okay, moving on.
Hey, I didn't say it's bad. I like that.
Yeah. So that was Prophecy Ragnarok. Now let's go to the marching song of Fiach Machu. This is a cover of Follow Me Up to Carlo, which is a song about, if I can find where I had it. Follow Me Up to Carlo is an Irish.
Great enough that I'm searching it up on my phone right now.
Follow Me Up to Carlo is an Irish folk song celebrating the defeat of an army of 3,000 English soldiers by Fiach Mac O'Brien, anglicizes Fiach Macu O'Brien, at the Battle of Glenmalure during the Second Desmond Rebellion in 1580. The air is disputed to have been played as a marching tune by the pipers of Fiach Macu in 1580. The words were written by Patrick Joseph McCall, who lived between 1861 and 1919, and appeared in the Songs of Erin under the title Marching Songs of Fiach Macu, which I need to see if I can just find somebody who's done that as an actual, like, full album, because it came out in 1920, so I want to see if I can just find... Oh, somebody has digitized the entire book. Gotta wait a bit for things to actually load with this page, but that's cool. I'll have to remember that. So we're gonna go ahead and play this. Now, this is a song frequently covered by various Irish bands, but this one is given a bit of a metal bent to it, as is their wont. So I present to you Crochan's The Marching Song of Fiach Macu.
Lift me here, hold your face, brooding over the old disgrace. The Black Fitzwilliam stormed your place, drove you to their fern. Grace said victory was short, and soon the firebrand he'd secure until he met at Glenmalure with Fiach Macu O'Byrne. Curse that's where Lord Kildare, fate will do what fate will there. Now Fitzwilliam, have a care, fallen is your star low. Up with Halberd and with sword, on we go for by the Lord. Fiach Macu has given the word, follow me up to Carlow. To Glenmale, the flashing over the English pale, see all the children of the gale. Billy O'Byrne's banners, rooster of a fighting stock. Would you let a Saxon conqueror upon an Irish rock? Fry him and teach him manners. Curse the twirl, Lord Kildare, feet will do what feet will there. Now Fitzwilliam, have a care, fallen is your star low. Up with Halberd and with sword, on we go for by the Lord. Fiach Macu has given the word, follow me up to Carlow. From cigar to Clomore, the flows a stream of Saxon gore. Who great is Rory O'Gore, sending the loons to Hades. White as sick and plain as red. Now from that Fitzwilliam's head, we'll send it over dripping red to Liza and her ladies. Curse the twirl, Lord Kildare, feet will do what feet will there. Now Fitzwilliam, have a care, fallen is your star low. Up with Halberd and with sword, on we go for by the Lord. Fiach Macu has given the word, follow me up to Carlow.
Some say the devil is dead, the devil is dead, the devil is dead. Some say the devil is dead and buried in Killarney. More say he rose again, more say he rose again, more say he rose again and joined the British Army. Milk the cow, milk the cow, milk the cow. Feed the pigs and milk the cow early in the morning. Cock your leg up, Paddy dear, I'm over here. Cock your leg up, Paddy dear, it's time to stop your yawning. Some say the devil is dead, the devil is dead, the devil is dead. Some say the devil is dead and buried in Killarney. More say he rose again, more say he rose again, more say he rose again and joined the British Army. Katie, she is tall and thin and tall and thin and tall and thin. Katie, she is tall and thin and likes a drop of brandy. Drinks it in the bed at night, drinks it in the bed at night, drinks it in the bed at night and makes it nice and randy. Some say the devil is dead, the devil is dead, the devil is dead. Some say the devil is dead and buried in Killarney. More say he rose again, more say he rose again, more say he rose again and joined the British Army. The way she has a hairy thing, a hairy thing, a hairy thing. The way she has a hairy thing, she showed it to me on Sunday. Bought it in the furrier shop, bought it in the furrier shop, bought it in the furrier shop. It's going back on Monday. Some say the devil is dead, the devil is dead, the devil is dead. Some say the devil is dead and buried in Killarney. More say he rose again, more say he rose again, more say he rose again and joined the British Army. My one's over 6 feet tall and 6 feet tall, 6 feet tall. My one's over 6 feet tall, she likes her sugar candy. Goes to bed at 6 o'clock, goes to bed at 6 o'clock, goes to bed at 6 o'clock. She's lazy, fat and dandy. Some say the devil is dead, the devil is dead, the devil is dead. Some say the devil is dead and buried in Killarney. More say he rose again, more say he rose again, more say he rose again and joined the British Army.
Alright, so one more song by Kraken. This one is their telling of the story of Dermot Grania, which I can elaborate on more later because I've already told everybody on the show the story except for my current co-host. So we're going to go ahead and hit play on this one and see if you can actually pick up what's going on. And welcome back. Coming up on the final stretch here. Got 23 minutes remaining in my shot, and then we'll be moving on to who's picking up after me? Is it Blair?
Myself.
Oh, it's you. And welcome Dylan Bortz. He'll be picking up after us. Say hi, Dylan.
Hello, everyone out there.
All right. So, what are we going to get over to next? Well, let's throw back to Sabaton since you wanted to see a little bit of the actual fighting tracks that they've had. The actual battle-based tracks. So we're going to go ahead and go to... We're going to do a song called Camouflage, which is not about a specific battle, but is about the Vietnam War the Korean War in general, I believe. No, Vietnam War.
Bless you.
This was a song that existed before Sabaton. It was a rock song, and they did a metal cover of it. It comes across real nice.
Hunting Johnny down. It was the jungle wars of '65. friend and I got stuck way out all alone. I could hear the enemy moving close outside. Just then I heard a twig snap and I grabbed my empty gun. And I dug in scowl, I counted down my fate. And then a big marine with a pair of friendly eyes appeared there at my shoulder and said, wait. Charlie was a tangle, now we'll have two to die. I said, well thanks a lot, I told him my name and asked him this. And his name, the boy just called me Camouflage. Whoa, camouflage, things are never quite the way they seem. Whoa, camouflage, I was awfully glad to see this big marine. We fought all night, side by side, took our battle stands, and I wondered how the bullets missed this man. Cause they seemed to go right through him, just as if he wasn't there. And in the morning we both took a chance and ran. And it was near the river bank when the ambush came, and I thought this was the end that we were had. Then a bullet with my name on came and buzzed through a bush, and the big marine, he swore it with his hand. Just like it was a fly. Whoa, camouflage, things are never quite the way they seem. Whoa, camouflage, I was awfully glad to see this big marine. When he led me out of danger, I saw my camp and waved goodbye. He just winked at me from the jungle, then he was gone. And when I got back to my HQ, I told them about my night and the battle I spent with a big marine named Camouflage. When I said his name, a soldier got in a medic took my arm and led me to a green tent on the right. He said, you may be telling the truth, boy, but this here is Camouflage, and he's been right here since he passed away last night. But before he went, he said Semper Fi and said his only wish was to save a young marine caught in a mirage. So here, take it contact, son. I know he wants you to have it now. Whoa, camouflage, things are never quite the way they seem. Whoa, camouflage, I was awfully glad to see this big marine. Whoa, camouflage, things are never quite the way they seem. Whoa, camouflage, this was an awfully big marine. Whoa, camouflage, things are never quite the way they seem. Whoa, camouflage, this was an awfully big marine.
God, I love that track.
It's a great track.
Because you think it's just about a guy getting saved by another buddy, and then at the end it is a twist that, like, that dude's been dead for over a day now.
Just camouflage and shit.
Yeah. So we're gonna cut over to an actual song about an actual battle this time, instead of just a generic sort of war thing. Now I'm gonna introduce you with one of my favorites. It's called No Bullets Fly. Now the background you need to have on this album, in this track, is that it used to be commonplace that, okay, so you know chivalry and you know Bushido and you know the idea of acting honorably in warfare. Most of the time that's bullshit. Most of the time that was rules that were set up that were not followed, okay? A notable exception to this is in the case of Air Force pilots in the First and Second World Wars. You see, it was, for most of them, they joined up as an Air Force pilot because they wanted to fly. They wound up going to war, yes, but there was a desire to fly for a lot of them. Now, I'm not saying that none of them wanted to serve their country. They did, but there was something about the awe of being in the air and having that experience, right? And if you were an Air Force pilot and you were being attacked by another plane and they shot you out of the sky, and let's say you ejected from your plane, right? Let's say you ejected with a parachute. You weren't supposed to shoot at a plane that was already going down, and you weren't supposed to shoot at somebody in a parachute. The logic being, you as an Air Force pilot are not going to be a ground troop. You're not going to be killing people on the ground. Your job is to fly the plane. meaning if they've taken away your plane, they've effectively taken you out of combat. Moreover, the idea is the person who's in the parachute isn't able to defend himself, and therefore it's not full-on war crime, but it was frowned upon for similar reasons, effectively. Now, there was a code of honor. It was you don't shoot down a plane, you don't shoot at a plane that's already going down, you don't shoot at somebody in a parachute, that sort of thing, right? So, there's a battle in World War I, and there is a U.S. bomber pilot by the name of Charlie Brown. I'm not even kidding. And he's flying this bomber plane, right? And it's taking heavy fire, and it's probably not going to make it. And this guy by the name of Franz Steigler, he's a German fighter pilot, and he's told by his commanding officer to go finish that plane off, make sure it goes down. What he does is one of the greatest displays of humanity in the history of warfare. He risks being shot down by enemy fire, he risks being shot down by enemy anti-aircraft, being shot down by his own anti-aircraft, being shot down by other planes on his side in the war, being shot down by the plane and by the bomber itself, and being court-martialed. And what does he do? He pulls up in front of the bomber plane, and he escorts it across the English Channel to safety. Now, it's been stated some have said that what Franz then did was he did a wingtip and a salute. Now, you gotta understand, yes, he just saved them, but the bombers are also thinking, well, we can't let him go. So there is a moment of attempting to shoot at him, but I don't think it was necessary trying to kill him. It was more of a scare him off sort of thing. So what does he do? Franz tips his wing in salute to the bomber. This is once they're across the English Channel. He tips his wing in salute to the bomber, and then he peels out. Now, what you have to remember is there were 6 or 7 different ways Franz could have died as a result of these actions, not the least of which being court-martialed after it had occurred. He was also... He had shot down 2 bombers that day. And if he had taken down this one, it would have made him like an official flying ace. Because an ace is somebody who takes down 3 aircraft in a single day of battle. Okay? He would have gotten a Distinguished Flying Cross. Let me look up exactly. He would have gotten a Flying Cross for this. Let's see here. Let me see here. Where is it? I'm trying to find the exact thing here. Okay, here it is. Second Lieutenant Charles L. Charlie Brown, a farm boy from Weston, West Virginia, in his own words, was a B-17 pilot with the 379th Bombardment Group of the United States Army Air Force, 8th Air Force, stationed at RAF Kimballton. Franz Steigler, former airline pilot from Bavaria, was a veteran Luftwaffe fighter pilot attached to, I can't even pronounce it, Jagdgeschwader 27, Fighter Band 27. At the time, he had 27 victory tallies to his name and would be eligible for the coveted Knight's Cross with 1 more downed enemy bomber. The required number of victories was 30. In Nazi Germany, the shooting down of a bomber aircraft was worth 3 points compared to a fighter's 1. My mistake. So that's what that is, right? He was 1 bomber away from the coveted Knight's Cross. Now, this is what happens. Through the damaged bomber's airframe, Steigler was able to see the injured and incapacitated crew. To the American pilot's surprise, Steigler did not open fire on the crippled bomber. Steigler recalled the words of one of his commanding officers from J-27, Gustav Rodel, during his time fighting in North Africa. "If I ever see or hear of you shooting at a man in a parachute, I will shoot you myself." Steigler later commented, "To me, it was just like they were in a parachute. I saw them and I couldn't shoot them down." So here, that's the background of this. 40 years after the war, these 2 men met and became lifelong friends until one of their deaths. Okay? And you'll see why as I play this track.
From down below, one enemy spotted. So hurry up, rearm and refuel. But through the bombers damaged that ring, see wounded men scattered to the